Hey, welcome everyone to the third night of the Residential Net Zero Energy Conference. My name is Brett Little here, Program Manager at the GreenHome Institute. Thanks for joining us again. This night, we're going to be talking about generation. The first night, we talked about conservation, keeping energy in, utilization, how we're using heating, cooling energy in our homes with HVAC, mechanical water heating. Tonight, we're talking about generation, not only generating renewables, solar, using batteries, but generating policy to help us get there and generating equity to make sure everybody can have access to a net zero home. So we got a lot to do today, a tight schedule. And one thing new, we're going to be having at 8:30, there's an extra link that went out and we'll send more information for a career fair too. So there's going to be the networking session and then you can jump over to the career fair at 8:30 if you're an employer or an employee and want to get engaged in that. So I'm excited to be the one kicking off the conference tonight. And we have been looking at net zero homes since, I don't know, 2012. I think maybe 2011 is the first time I had ever heard one. And talking with builders, architects, designers, developers, you name it, about how they're doing this, what they're doing, interviewing them, helping them certify their projects. And so, over the last couple of years, we've been putting together this session on 10 easy ways on what we've been seeing to help others get there, so you can just kind of get the work done for you and figure out the best pathway. And we update this every year, almost every even half year. There's new ideas, new technologies. So this is the latest iteration of our talk, whittled down to 10 minutes for you, so kind of 10 tips in 10 minutes. And I'm real excited to dive into this and then hand it off to our speakers after that. So first, number one, the most important thing you can do is make that commitment. Establish your team, set the goal for getting to low carbon net zero with the entire team, make that a goal priority from the beginning. Get everyone committed. Now, there are going to be naysayers, and that's okay. People who don't necessarily agree with you might have really good ideas as to why something might not work and a better way to do it. So that's okay, but not everyone on the team has to be fully bought in, but at least working towards that goal. And then get everyone educated, right? Training, coming to sessions like this, coming to online webinars or whatever it might be, getting them figured out where they need to be getting their training, very important. And during that commitment time, you're gonna have meetings. You're gonna be getting together, hopefully maybe virtually right now, to figure out what you're gonna do during the design start of the project, during the mid-construction, at the end of the project, figuring out what you need to do, what went wrong, what went right. And really, it's just, we see green building and net zero. The number one reason it fails is not because of technology or cost. It's just because people weren't communicating. How is the HVAC going to work with the solar? How is electrical going to work with plumbing? How is the landscaping going to work to keep energy loads down? Get everyone with the different skill sets talking at the beginning and make that commitment, establish the goal, and move forward. It's the easiest thing you can do to start a net zero project. The next thing you want to do is know what you're working with, right? You need to get an understanding of what is going on with either if you have a choice of sites, what's the best site? If you're limited to a site but you're building new, what's the best place for renewables and solar income? And if you're limited to an existing home or building, then trying to figure out what you can generate there. And so we always recommend the easiest place to start, and free, is the PV Watts calculator through the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. And there you can go in and it really kind of guides you through how to sort of design your own system and helps you answer questions. You don't have to be a solar expert. It's a great place to start before you hire a solar expert, because you still want to hire a solar expert. But this is a great place to just kind of figure out what, how things are looking, where things are going for your particular project. And then it kind of spits out what we would call sort of your current solar income for the site. How much kilowatt hours can you generate? And then you work backwards from there to figure out where you need to go with your energy efficiency. And then, of course, you're probably going to send someone out to the site to use like a solar pathfinder and figure out where the best placement for renewables are to avoid shading or having to kill trees, you name it. And then for geothermal, you're going to be taking a look, if you're using geo, where's the best place to put geo? Do we want to kill more trees by removing it if we go horizontal? Do we want to bore down vertical? It costs a little bit more. Are there some ponds? What's the best thing to do? So you're going to assess that site for solar income and potentially for geothermal energy. Now you've got the team together, you've got solar looked at. Now you're going to look at passive solar, right? Befriend the sun. And this is a really exciting thing. This project here, the Burbeck at Beacon Springs Certified Living Building Challenge, net zero home. I just saw their data. They're definitely way on track, over track for net zero, still to this day, so many years later. I saw a Facebook post update from them in 2018 during the polar vortex. I think it was -13 outside. The sun had come out and the picture had their window open because they were overheating in the house, because that's what happens when you build a nice passive solar home with the right products and solutions in it to do that, in the right design, right? You can get that heat from the sun during the winter, and you don't even need your HVAC system. So they're using things like proper orientations, proper glazing, trom wall systems behind those windows where the sun comes in, warms that house up. And then you can see, like, I remember Eric Hughes' image design. And by the way, this house is for sale, so I'll send you a link later. They've got this nice east-west orientation with longer, more glazing on the south side here, less glazing on the north behind it, facing the sun. Sun comes right in the wintertime, warms it up real nice. The summertime, you can see those nice overhangs keep it out. That nice white roof bounces it right out. And so passive solar design, put that right into all your projects. It's free energy, free money. All right, and keeping on design, we need to design right-sized spaces. So that's what we're seeing more of, right? We're not talking about tiny homes per se, but we're saying, how can we ensure that people can maximize the effectiveness of their space and not have to use too much, which cuts costs and materials as well. So one strategy, just looking at these homes, right? Top one, bottom one. Which one, if they were the same square footage, same climate zone, right next door to each other, same air sealing and insulation, which one inherently is going to use more energy? The top one or the bottom one? Right? So yeah, it's the one on the bottom, right? That one is going to use, the one on the top left, that longer home is going to use more energy. So just right there, you can design a home 2 stories, and you're going to get a little more efficiency out of it with all the other same solutions. So you've got folks like Sarah Susanka, the not so big solutions for your home, coming up with ideas for your clients. We've got our friend Bruce Thompson in Grand Rapids, Urbaneer. He claims you can live 45% larger with smaller space, more utilized space, using products and techniques and technologies. So before, we just talked about design, right? Just getting the team together and having better informed design decisions. We didn't even get to anything. And right there alone, you can save so much energy and money on utility bills before we even get to the high performance products yet. So this next tip number 5, is what we want you to do is, when you're setting that goal for zero, also set a secondary goal of hitting Passive House certification, US, German, international, whatever you like. Set that goal and be prepared to fail a goal, and be prepared to say that's okay. It's okay to fail Passive House. You want to put it out there and set it way as a big target, and you want to go as far as you can to try to hit it if you possibly can. And you're going to, it's better to if you set a lower goal, you're going to fall even lower. So when you set that higher goal, you're going to have, better air sealing in the house, better strategies to air seal, keep that energy in, better roofing insulation, attic insulation, better insulation in your walls, thicker walls. You're going to have slab insulation that's properly installed. You're going to have the best windows with either the lowest U factor, or now the trendy thing is to talk about R factor, right? R value, R5 windows, R7, R10. We're seeing them out there. And you're going to start to use advanced framing techniques, right? So you've got traditional framing, we got a lot of lumber. Now you have less energy, less money. Framing's expensive right now. Wood costs are way up. Using something like our friends from T-Stud, you can put that insulation right into the stud and insulate it right there and stop that thermal bridging. And then, of course, you can use, you can know now what air sealing targets you want to get to with new products on the market. This is a photo from one of Architectural Resources projects too that was presented on Monday. This is behind the scenes footage of it getting sealed through a sealant, a solvent, getting it down to the air change level they want it to be at, right? You don't need to guess at air changes anymore. You can just get it there. So the other thing you have to consider with insulation, of course, is it healthy? And what's the upfront carbon of it? We had a discussion about that at the beginning of the session too, that you can catch the recording of now. So not just how much energy does it resist, but is it a healthy insulation? And also, is it a lower carbon emitting insulation? Consider all that when you're putting your team together at the beginning. Now, electrification, that's what we really need to start aiming for. How many solar panels does it take to offset one gas water heater, right? 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, what's the answer? And the reality is we can put up 1,000 solar panels, but we can't get that combustion back. We can't get it out of the air. So it doesn't offset it. That's why we need to go electric. And gas just isn't innovative anymore. It's really hit its peak. But electric systems, as you saw yesterday at the session, 400% efficiency, 500, 600, 700, they're still going up. There's still more innovation. So that's what's happening in the realm of electricity. You can join us over at the Electrify Everything Facebook group and learn a lot more and engage in conversation if you like. And keeping on the ventilation, what we also have to do is get smart ventilation. We had Ty from Build Equinox talk about the serve yesterday. We've got Cosmos system here. These are going to detect pollution in your project in the air, and then they're going to remove that pollution only as needed to not overventilate the home, not dry it out, and not waste energy. So that's going to be important during your design stage. Now, if you follow everything I just talked about, right, you're already at 90% reduction in energy use. Now you just got to get really picky. And unfortunately, a lot of people start here, but you can only save so much energy here because there's only so much energy being used. The biggest thing is to go out and get your clients or try out a single top plate induction stove, right? You love cooking, you love gas, but you know it wastes energy and you know it's poisoning your house, right? So electric stoves save more energy, don't have less toxic emissions, but they're awful to cook with. Get that induction stove, try it out, tell us that you don't like it, right? Send it back if you don't like it. But this is a great way to save energy, and all the top chefs are switching over to it now. Next, you want to be looking at your dryers, right? So going all electric, using heat pump, condensing dryers. They build in motion sensors into LEDs now. And so I have these, and it's built right in, and it's cheaper than the wall-mounted motion sensors. And then make sure you're getting water sense products, because then you're pulling less water out of the water heater. These products still work just fine. And on the toilet side, if you've got well water, you're using that to pump energy. So that's going to save water and energy. Or even in a municipal setting, it's going to stop energy being used back at the plant and reduce carbon emissions that way. So that's a win-win. Now, you're going to get all what I just talked about, right? You're going to get the design in place, the solar current income. You're going to get the right-sized housing, right? You're going to get the super passive house wall assembly. You're going to get the electric heat pump or geothermal systems. And you're going to say, well, we did our work. We're probably on track to net zero. Let's see what happens. But we always say, why guess when you can know? Because now you can work with energy modeling professionals at the beginning of the project. And legally, in most states, you have to work with one of these folks anyway. They have to come and test your house out. So why not work with them at the beginning when they can tell you you're on track to making your net zero goals, rather than the bad news they might deliver to you after construction. So you're going to work with them through one of these various energy modeling softwares. And this model is going to say, look, here's where your plan is today. But if you improve your house, improve your plan, here's where you're going to be at. Here's your cost. Here's your energy usage. And oh, by the way, during the design stage, it breaks down where your energy is being wasted. So you can figure out where to put your effort and all your money in a strategic way, rather than learning this at the end of the project when it's too late, because we see that every day and there's nothing you can do. You're at the end of the project. You can also get the lenders engaged with these energy software tools. And you can look on the left here, you've got a conventional loan, right? And you've got energy costs, right? $1,400 your client's going to be paying, right? $400 is going to the utility company, $1,000 is going to the loan. That utility company payment doesn't build any equity. But the low carbon green mortgage, one that I'm piloting, hoping to sign any day here, you can see you increase your mortgage. Yes, you pay more on your mortgage, but way less in your energy bill, hopefully nothing. And you build that equity for yourself. So you can use that modeling. Get the modeler in, they come and do some of the work throughout the house, and they're inspecting it, testing it, and they're giving you a report and telling you you're on track to saving energy. Now is the time to cut energy bills, right? Or now is the time to add solar, right? So you reduce your energy. You might want to pre-wire for solar, get the right solar so it's ready for the future. If the clients don't have money now, they can add that solar onto the roof later, or add more solar on later. They can put it out into a field. We're going to be talking about solar next. And, that's going to be you're only going to need a little bit of solar to hit net zero if you've done those other things. And then you can put a battery in as well and consider having 100% uptime and save money on a larger battery. And lastly, if you can't purchase solar, this is the great time to get renewable energy credits, or RECs, and you can go zero carbon that way until it makes sense for your client or for you to actually ride out, buy the solar, or do some kind of strategy hybrid. But you have to make sure that the RECs are certified. So that's all my time here today. But at this point, we are going to be breaking out into 2 different sessions. So track number 1, you're going to stay here, and we're going to be doing solar and batteries. Do they work in the Midwest? And track number 2, you're going to have to go to that link at the bottom right there. See, it says rebrandly.ly/track2. Screenshot that, and I'll paste it into the chat. But if you want to head over there, we've got our friends Casey Murphy and Jennifer Abram. They're going to be talking about how do I pay for net zero? What are the funding streams and the value streams to get there? So head over to track 2 if you want to talk about payments. Stay with us here if you want to talk about technology, solar, and battery. And I'll send that link in the chat. But if you want to head to session 2, you got to go to the bottom right of what you see on your screen, the rebrandly.ly track 2. That'll get you over there. You got to log out of GoTo to get there. So with